How did this 3,000-pound stone, with a carving of a mastodon, get 40 feet below the water's surface in Lake Michigan? Not only is the carving amazing, but this stone was also arranged in a hexagonal formation with 5 other stones, creating a Stonehenge-like formation beneath the water's surface. This was preceded by miles of stone lines. This is the Lake Michigan Stonehenge. In 2007, Mark Hawley, professor of underwater archaeology at Northwestern Michigan College, was hired to survey old shipwrecks in Lake Michigan using a repurposed sector scan sonar device, which is usually attached to an ROV and sent to the bottom of the lake bed to take these really interesting circular scans of the bottom of the lake. In this one you can see a small shipwreck and cars and other wreckage. While Mark Hawley and his team were scanning the bottom of Lake Michigan, specifically in the Grand Traverse Bay location, they came upon a stone formation that caught their attention. It was a long line of large stones that went on for some distance, and then a large hexagon formation of 6 stones near the end was of most interest. Now, while I was researching this video, I was shown this image a countless number of times in articles and videos implying this is the site, and it's just not. This is a shipwreck. More precisely, this is the Acme propeller steam-powered freighter sunken in Lake Erie in 1867. This info coming from wrecksandreefs.com. The Great Lakes have claimed an estimated 6,000 to 10,000 ships, with Lake Michigan having claimed the most. So then, what is the Lake Michigan Stonehenge and what does it look like? Well, first off, it's not technically a Stonehenge or henge. All henges have a common characteristic of a ring-shaped bank and ditches, with the ditch being inside the bank, and sometimes henge monuments are standing stones placed in a circular formation inside the earthwork. While this formation is similar in that it's circular in shape, or more accurately a hexagon, there does not appear to be any earthwork, only large boulders that cannot be called standing stones necessarily, as they are all mostly just round, with the largest being about 4 foot tall by 5 foot wide, which is still rather large. It's estimated to be approximately 3,000 pounds. But no way the size of the stones at Stonehenge in England. This large boulder of the bunch also has what appears to be a petroglyph of a mastodon on it. Mark Hawley at a news conference after the discovery was quoted as saying, "When you see it in the water, you're tempted to say this is absolutely real. But that's what we need the experts to come in and verify." The boulder with the markings is 3.5 to 4 feet high and about 5 feet long. Photos show a surface with numerous fissures. Some may be natural, while others appear of human origin, but those forming what could be the petroglyph stood out. Viewed together, they suggest the outlines of a mastodon-like back, hump, head, trunk, tusk, triangular-shaped ear, and parts of legs, he said. Specialists in the field of petroglyphs that were shown the photos want more evidence before confirming that the markings are an ancient petroglyph. Mark said, "They want to actually see it. Unfortunately," he added, "experts in petroglyphs generally don't dive, so we're running into a little bit of a stumbling block there." The site's exact location is also a closely guarded secret, as the local native people of the area feel it is a sacred ceremonial site. Hank Bailey, an Ottawa elder whose ancestors were the Anishinaabe people who were hunter-gatherers that populated the area, had this to say about the site in an interview.
Why is it so important to you?
Anishinaabe culture, we refer to stones as animate objects because they come from the mother, the earth, who is alive. We refer to them as Mishumas, grandfather. They reinforced that we have been here a long time, and that's why we've been so particular with your crew about the location.
So to prevent vandalism or swarms of sightseers, the exact location is not known to the public. The stones, however, have stood the test of time and are reportedly made of granite which is well known for its durability. While there is question whether or not this is a petroglyph, it is worth pointing out that Michigan does have verified petroglyphs and stone circles elsewhere. Typically associated to the indigenous Anishinaabe people, Sanilac Petroglyphs Historic State Park, located near Cass City in Michigan, is home to Michigan's largest known collection of carvings in stone. There is also a stone circle found on Beaver Island in Lake Michigan. So if authentic, when exactly would this structure have been built, as one would assume Lake Michigan had to be dry land when it was constructed? And what exactly was the purpose of it? Archaeological evidence suggests people populated North America at least 13,000 years ago, known as the Clovis culture. This is the time of the last ice age, which started ending 12,000 years ago. As the ice retreated, a large portion of what is now lake bed was still land. Approximately 9,000 years ago, the area of the Grand Traverse Bay was land. Therefore, archaeologists believe this site to be around 9,000 years old. It's worth noting that mastodons are thought to have gone extinct around 10,000 years ago, but I find it highly likely that there were still some mastodons during this period. So what was the purpose of this site and the long line of stones leading up to it? For that, we should look at a similar structure found and identified in another Great Lake, Lake Huron. A U.S. radar study performed by Dr. John O'Shea detected an odd structure at the bottom of Lake Huron. Researchers found 3 circular hunting blinds that were built within stone lines. This has been dubbed the Drop 45 drive lane, and is thought to have been used to corral caribou and mammoths. Ancient cultures would use long straight lines of stones to force wild herds of animals to follow it, typically into pre-built hunting blinds that they would then use to ambush the wild game. The drive lane dates back to 9,000 years ago, when the water level was 100 meters below what it is today. Underwater archaeologists found what was a dry land corridor connecting northeastern Michigan to southern Ontario. The Alpena Amberley Ridge is a 200-kilometer ridge that stretches from Michigan to Ontario. It is currently submerged below 120 feet of water. Underwater excavating or airlifting, a process of vacuuming small sections of the lake bottom, is being used to further search for evidence of ancient civilizations. Researchers have found chipped debris, consistent with crafting and repairing stone hunting tools. The team also found what appear to be V-shaped hunting blinds, oriented both to the southeast and the northwest, and a rectangular area that may have been used as a meat cache. This area of the Great Lakes is rich in its history with prehistoric sites, which I feel adds credence to the possibility that the Lake Michigan Stonehenge is in fact a genuine prehistoric stone monument site. So what was it? Seems likely that the long line of stones leading up to it were probably a drive lane for hunting animals. However, this circular structure could be a hunting blind, sacred ceremonial site, hunting camp, stone celestial calendar, shelter, or simply a monument. We simply do not know. Much of the Great Lakes are unexplored, and likely there is much more to be found. The Great Lakes cover 94,000 square miles, which represents the largest surface of fresh water in the entire world, and begs the question, what's out there? I've been your host, Eric Gray. Until next time, this has been Unexplained.